Welcome to the Austin LGBT Chamber of Commerce podcast. I'm Tina Cannon, your host and CEO of the Chamber. On today's pod, we'll talk about local business news in the headlines this week. Waymo user data is in. Is it safe? And then Austin is looking to raise taxes. Maybe. We'll talk about it. SBA, because there's not enough bad news, is looking to increase fees. What you need to know. We'll be right back. It's a bit of a bad news headline buzz there. How's it going, crew?
I was going amazing. I was so excited for today's news.
It's not going to get any better as it moves forward.
It's fine.
We have to
Everything's fine.
It's the little things. You have to find the little things. Little things are joy.
Yes. Little things of joy. We had one since we last recorded. We all did our Lockhart trip.
Yeah,
It's a good
so
time.
fun.
You missed out?
Yeah.
Too bad.
You missed it twice now.
Boo, boo, I know.
Dang
I
it.
know. Had another thing to do.
Lou's so cute.
Yeah, Mayor Lou, we love you.
Yeah. And his wife came out, and loads of the community came out that are not business owners in the community. So that's like really wonderful to see when you just have that broad support of like, we love what you're doing. And we love our business owners here. So
And the photos look amazing.
Yeah.
Really, really good.
Oh my
Did
gosh.
have
Thank
FOMO
you,
when I saw
Lisa.
those.
Yeah, thank you, Lisa. Appreciate that.
And
It
the
was a good time. We'll keep an eye on the calendar. We'll do more of those.
bus was sold out, I understand.
Oh, yeah.
bus was sold out, and we had Jim Beam. Thank you, Jim Beam, for sponsoring our bus ride. And Vivint came out. They landed right where I wanted them to land, even though parking is dire in Lockhart right now with the downtown revitalization. When they pulled up, they're like, "Where do you want us to park?" I'm like, "Actually,
Perfect.
you
right
are
there.
right where I want you to be."
That's
Yeah.
amazing.
So,
Great.
and I got a text from a couple of my friends down there who didn't really participate in Small Town Big Pride. They're like, "Hey," and they like sent me pictures of their fingers with Band-Aids. And they're like, "We went to the Vivint van." I was like, "Yes, this is so great. Thank you for going." So I guess they did kind of support. Like, yeah,
That's good.
Vivint is one of our chamber sponsors. So heck yeah, good all around.
Yep.
It was good all around. It's been a tiring week. I know I'm exhausted.
Yeah.
We have had a lot. March really kicked our asses. Like we went from South by Southwest. What else?
Advocacy Day.
Advocacy Day, the Lockhart trip,
Trans Visibility Day.
Yeah, 2
Lockhart
events.
trip.
Luncheons.
Happy hour.
ribbon cutting.
Yeah.
Like I'm tired.
It was clearly aggressive, being new on staff and like January you have, let's have the annual planning meeting.
Yeah.
Like, it's this event and this event and this event. I'm like, what
I know.
the hell?
When I was hired on, I was like, is it always like this?
Yeah.
Because I hired on in a ledge year too.
Yeah.
And I was just like, is it always this
Yeah.
way?
I pulled up yesterday how many events just we've done since the beginning of the year. And it's just, we're already creeping up to almost 30.
Oh my gosh.
And then when you include in all of our chamber members who also can post their events on our website, there's over 100 events that have happened year to date.
Awesome.
So we're definitely hitting our goal of engagement this year, I guess. Community building and solidarity.
I would dare say lull and events that we have coming up, we're still doing a lot.
Yeah.
I hope to do nothing on Saturday.
Yeah.
Actually, there's a soccer match
There is.
on Saturday, so I may take that in.
And there's some protesting as well.
There is,
The
yes.
hands-on.
On the
Take hands off or something. Gosh, I should have looked that up.
hands
But
on,
yeah,
hands off.
Yeah, there's protests all over the nation. So
Yeah.
there's one here in Austin Saturday. And then I understand there's a sports game on Sunday.
Sport ball on
Is
Saturday.
it on Saturday? I thought it was
Sunday.
on Sunday.
Sunday.
Oh.
No, I meant Sunday if I said Saturday.
I
The
think I did.
protest is Saturday. The game is on Sunday.
Oh,
I
well
could have
played.
sworn it was on Saturday, but maybe it is on Sunday.
No,
But-
a lesbian told me it was Sunday. So I
It's got to be right.
We have Sip and Stroll in Lockhart on Saturday. So another kind of like economic push through. This is the construction series
yeah.
to support businesses that have really lost out while their whole block has been closed.
Yeah.
So there's Sip and Stroll, and then Patrice Pike
Oh, yeah, I saw that.
is playing up at one of our member joints, Black Sparrow
Lovely.
in Taylor. So we'll see how Sip and Stroll treats me.
Yeah.
And then if I can get in the car and go up to Taylor, I'll go see Patrice.
Place your bets now.
Yeah, I'm lazy. I'll just wait for her to come back to the Saxon.
Yeah. And she's got a residency there, right? So, yeah.
Her and Lauren and the rest of the crew there. So they're fun to watch.
Heck yeah.
And it's not a bad show with the Saxon because that's my kind of...
Yeah.
Like, I would rather go to a Saxon pub than I would a Moody.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
we're
it's
so
more intimate,
spoiled.
yeah.
I kind of forget, like with Sea Boys and Saxon and Continental. Like, I've got loads of friends that play there, and then you can also see big talent. Even when Dale Watson was over at Austin Motel.
Right.
Yeah. So spoiled.
Yeah.
Very much so.
That's great. Especially given the Saxon is in our neighborhood, right?
Even more spoiled. I can
That's fair.
waddle myself home.
Wowie.
Mine's downhill as well.
Yeah.
Everything's down. Speaking of downhill, let's get to the headlines.
Oh, boy.
So Waymo, you've seen those self-driving vehicles. All right, y'all, buckle up. Here is some news about Waymo. So the Alphabet's robo-taxi baby is making moves, not just in cruising around aimlessly anymore. The autonomous darlings have quietly rolled into other cities. Atlanta, that's only for their employees. They've got their robo-eyes set on D.C., opening in 26. And that already adds to their impressive list of Phoenix, San Francisco, L.A., and, of course, here in Austin. But here's some tea. It's not just a joyride. In San Francisco, Waymo snatched 22% of the ride-hailing market in just 15 months. That's without hitting freeways or airports. Still slower and pricier than Uber or Lyft, but that equates to about 1,500 full-time drivers. So, yeah, they're here. And then here's the money.
Yeah.
The money side of it. Not quite keeping up with the vibes. Last year, Waymo brought in 50 to 75 million. Impressive, but they burned through 1.5 billion with a B. But they did complete over 4 million paid rides in 2024. 11,000 self-driving trips every single day. Bottom line, they are killing it out there, and not the people on the road, so that's good.
Thank God.
So next time you're gliding by and you see one of those things, that is not the future, my friends. The future is already here. Mm-hmm. Have y'all done the Waymo trip yet?
No.
I think we should test it out, though, Amy. I think that you should get a Waymo from Lockhart to Patrice Pike on Saturday.
I mean, if somebody wants to sponsor the cost of that trip, sure.
I want to see what that's like.
Can you imagine a Waymo pulling into Lockhart? Some of those folks that have never left in like 3 generations,
Oh my gosh.
they would be like, what? We have been invaded.
There's like Back to the Future.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, what is...
Small town
Actually,
Lockhart Waymo.
small town people would probably be like, that driver's real short. I can't even see her.
Let's say something inappropriate about someone actually being underneath, like doing the pedals.
Oh, my.
64% fewer car accidents with Waymos. 81% fewer collisions that caused injuries. And 83% fewer accidents in which airbags were deployed. So they're safe. Of the ones that we've seen driving around,
Okay.
they're safer.
Sure. Yes.
They're probably safer than some 15-year-olds, 16-year-olds on the road.
100% agree with that. But giving up in traffic, I don't know if that's the same as safe.
Giving up. Oh, when they just
They
kind
just
of...
like, they're like, I don't know what to do. Like, and I saw down here, down below our office, we were watching this intersection being blocked by APD, and one of the Waymos was trying to take a right-hand turn, and like, if it's not updated in the system, I'm sure it doesn't know to turn down that road. And I saw the officer. Did you see him? He knocked on the top of the on the roof sensor, like the little hat.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I wonder if they know something we don't know, where like somebody at a computer can kind of like dial in and be like, okay, what's going on over here?
Maybe.
But eventually it reversed and then continued down 4th instead of turning down Colorado. Excuse me.
Not bad.
But
not bad.
yeah, it's the same as the cruise cars. Remember when they would have swarms of cruise cars and people in neighborhoods were throwing cones on their hood just to get them to shut down?
Oh yeah,
Put a little dunce hat on it.
Cruise went belly up. Amazon's trying. They've got the Zooks. And then Tesla has their Robo. Do you know how many trips those took in the last year?
Nope.
0.
Oh, the Tesla
Zero
one.
trips with
Zooks?
people in them. They're still testing them.
And then
in 2024.
Volkswagen's got their fleet of vans that are really cool, the EV vans.
That's going to be good.
I know you're a lover or a hater of those, but I kind of love them.
I do. I love the passenger ones, the actual human-owned ones. Those are cute. Those one passed us the other day.
They're super modern looking, but they just have that retro flair.
That's how I like to think I am.
Okay. I guess kind of like the Bronco. Like if you're a Ford person.
I don't love the new Bronco.
No.
I can't get there, especially because they made the boring one, the boring edition Bronco.
Got it.
Like they've got the sport one. It's all, jacked up. It looks cool. But like, what's with the other one? Why even bother? It's just got like basic tires. It's real low.
I think that's called the intro model.
Yeah, it's called Don't Bother.
Well, you can do the same to a Jeep.
Oh, don't even bother.
Well, whatever. Yeah. But did you see what else is coming back?
What?
Scout.
Oh.
They look real sexy. And
they should advertise to the lesbian community hard.
EV version.
Of course, Fiona's looking at us and like, what?
I have nothing.
So when you had, so when you had to pre-order,
like a rabbit or no?
Oh, it's like a. Do you know Intercontinental? No. Like, it's a beefy old school Bronco-ish, but like.
Think of like a fat
cooler.
Jeep. Like a fat Jeep.
Okay.
Yeah. But remember when Tesla came out, you had to pre-order. It was a whole thing. You had to wait months, right?
Yeah, because you didn't have any money to produce them.
Yeah.
Now they're doing it with Scout. So people are like pre-ordering their Scouts. And I mean, if anyone has $120K lying around that you would like to dish my way.
Yeah, I'm guessing those folks don't care about tariffs. So.
Oh, that's going to bring up tariffs. I'm like, okay, this is going to be really interesting to see how tariffs affect all of this great innovation and relaunches of old cars.
I was talking to one of our members that was there today from Subaru, Subaru that was at our luncheon today, and I'm like, how's it going? She's like, it's a madhouse. People are rushing to buy right now before the prices hit.
That's insane.
Yeah.
Makes me really nervous.
Okay. More great news.
On a positive.
Continuing on the bad news headlines, Austin is thinking about raising taxes. The friends at the Austin Monitor have a full article, but we might be headed to the polls again this November, not for a mayor or any other election, but for a money move. The state law, thanks to a state law, the city cannot raise property taxes more than 3.5% without voter approval. And guess what? We've hit our ceiling. So staff just told City Council that without new revenue, we're starting down the year with a $2.2 million budget hole next year and ballooning to $6 million deficit by 2029. We've already lost $160 million in tax capacity this year because of that cap. Last time we voted on a tax hike, well, that was back in 2020 when we did Project Connect. So now we're talking about where this money goes. The city staff says it's going to use funding for core services, including 24/7 mental health and homelessness support. And let's not forget the pre-cap. Austin was seeing property tax revenue growth between 5.5 and 7.3 over the next 2 decades. So the cap is. It's really trying to fund the whole city on like a juice cleanse budget at the moment. So the hope is that the city can make a good case for using these funds, and we'll see whether or not they've got until August to decide if they want to have an election to put that item on the ballot. But that was passed like 2 sessions ago that requires before the cap of a 3.5% increase before it has to go to a public vote, which I agree. It is a good measure in the sense that it keeps everybody on their toes and it makes the elected officials really have to justify whatever the increase is and what they're going to use it for. So we'll see. More to come on that one.
Yeah. What they're going to use it for is the big thing.
Yeah, and it's hard because it all goes into the general fund. So you can say you're going to use it for X.
Yeah.
But it's all one big mush bucket of funding.
Yeah.
I mean, and hearing today, well, the luncheon that we had this week, that, with movability about just how massive our growth is in our city. Well, I forget, it's going to double in the next 4 or 5 years. Yeah. And going back to cars as well, like 70 new cars on the road every day. So, we need taxes to be able to support all the people that want to live in this fabulous place.
Definitely. And so our tax rolls also, it would be a 3.5 increase, but you also have to consider, our property values have gone up since last taxing happened. So there is still more money just because the value of the home has gone up and then which people base their tax on.
Right.
And on top of that, another 3.5% increase. It could be pretty substantial. They are required by city ordinance as well to put out a taxpayer income statement whenever they do any kind of fee increase or a tax increase on what the impact would be on a single family home or a renter. So we'll see. They're still talking about it. Lots more to come, whether or not it goes to a vote this cycle. But supposedly the city is having a bit of a budget crisis at the moment.
Well, yes. I mean,
I'm having a budget crisis.
I'm having a budget crisis. It's an interesting thing when you get a bunch of folks in a room together. Like hearing, there's an increase in taxes is really scary. But right now we're kind of, what's that saying? Rob Peter to pay Paul.
Yeah.
if you don't want to pay more taxes and all of a sudden your trash doesn't get picked up,
Right.
that it's a ripple effect, like because there's not enough to go around, or response times for first responders goes up, or it's fascinating to me when they finally wrap their heads around it, and you see it in buckets. So what's that program with the city Works, or
Sure.
it's like it's a community program where you sit with city officials, and it's like 9 months long, and or 9 weeks, something like that. And one of the courses is specifically about taxes, where they go, how they're used, and what the buckets look like. And they give everybody like green dots and red dots, like what don't you want to increase, what do you want to decrease, and what do you want to stay the same, with like a yellow dot.
Yeah, that sounds
And
good.
There's a whole team of people who do the budgeting, right? But like nobody in the class gets it. Not that they don't understand it, the budget never matches.
Right.
So they just want these things, and like, okay, well then you have to increase.
You got to pay more.
You got to pay more.
And we just did a tax increase on the last election cycle when we passed the tax for the child care credits, or child care, not credits, the child care tax through AISD and through the county. So, they have to kind of weigh voter fatigue and affordability with also, right? Do they increase taxes, or like say, do they cut services and then have to deal with,
Right.
why isn't this road fixed? Why is the sidewalk dilapidated?
Or why can't I get somebody on the phone who's bilingual?
Right. Or
Like
911.
Yeah,
Hello.
it's simple stuff like that sometimes that could affect a whole group of people, especially like Spanish speakers in Austin. Yeah, you have to weigh your odds there.
So now's the time to speak your mind and call your elected officials and let them know where you stand on the issues. And like you say, that's a great exercise on the budget. Like if you had $1, they used to do a deal where the budget was $1.
Yes.
And then you have to break out, okay, Parks gets 12 cents, police gets 42 cents, this department gets this. And you realize quickly how fast that goes.
Yeah.
And yet they have to balance the needs of all the constituents and services, especially those who need the most help.
And then you have nothing for a water crisis. Like we had, what was that, 7 years ago, 6 years, where nobody had water for weeks and weeks and weeks.
Yeah, and water's a big issue at the state capitol right now. It's one of the forefront issues, aside from the voucher bullshit that's going on, is because, right, we're Texas. We are, as much as we don't like to think about it, a desert.
Right.
And so there's limited water supply and water capacity. So it is one of the bills that they are working really hard on to make sure that we are water secure. About 15 years ago, maybe it was 20, when Kirk Watson was a state senator, he worked to do a hedge purchase on water that supplied us for from the time actually he was there through about now. And so now here we are again in a water crisis. So hopefully they take up the business that is serious business at the Capitol and quit wasting their time on who wears what and goes to what bathroom.
That would be wonderful.
Isn't that something? And like, go volunteer with those watershed folks and stuff that are out there and keep our Texas waters clean, because they need all the help that they can get as part of it. It's all interconnected.
And enlist the billionaires that have moved to Austin.
You would
to move
think.
to
Instead of
Austin.
spending $20 million to get a judge not elected, maybe you could put some money toward Austin's water crisis.
Is that what
Yeah,
you
and then
meant?
you don't have to talk about it on the court floor or in a hearing or in front of counsel. Good grief.
More bad news. Here we go.
Yay!
So the Small Business Administration is going cuckoo for coconuts. The ABJ has a much more serious take on this, but they are clutching their wallets a little tighter than a barista holding on to a last oat milk carton. Yes, folks, the Small Business Admin is decided it is time to hike up those loan fees because, nothing says we support businesses like making them pay more. So what's the deal? As of March 27, SBA has increased their fees on popular 7A loan program. Moves comes after the program experienced a negative cash flow of $397 million last year. Apparently, cutting fees and loosening lending rules led to more defaults. Shocker. So now if you're a small business owner looking to borrow, here's what you're up against. The annual service fee, a flat 0.55% on guaranteed portion of the outstanding loan. Previously, smaller loans enjoyed lower or no fees, but now everyone is invited to the fee-paying party. And then the second one is the upfront guarantee fees. For loans over 12 months, expect to pay between 2% to 3.75% on the guaranteed portion, depending on the loan amount. Short-term loans under 12 months, you're still in 0.25% fee across the board. The administrator, of course, says that these changes are to, quote, safeguard the taxpayer-backed capital for small business formation. Translation, we need to patch up the hole in our wallet and guess who's footing the bill. So the takeaway, if you're a small business owner considering an SBA loan, brace yourself for increased fees. is more crucial than ever to crunch those numbers and ensure that borrowing aligns with your financial strategy. What a bummer day today.
Yeah. Speaking of budgets, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's going up, but it's not, comparatively speaking to everything else, I mean, these are obviously taller figures, but it's not that big of a jump. It just sucks.
Yeah, especially, I mean, small businesses are the backbone of America, I understand.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, let's fee them out some more. Let's make them pay some more fees.
Sure. Yeah. Great.
Yeah.
I'm going to start selling tiny fire extinguishers just in case I need to oh no, stop talking. I put that fire out. Oh no.
I thought for a moment you were going to say you're going to build a business on that tiny hand that you love so much.
Well,
Okay.
listeners.
Okay.
There's some context here.
Listeners, I have to tell you this. Okay, so Amy comes into the office probably at least a month ago now, and she had a late night Amazon shopping spree and bought this fun, tiny little hand. It's looks like a hand of a 7-year-old
Right.
on a stick. And so she comes in holding the hand, and it's his little hand.
Yes,
Is it?
this is
I think you've got
following.
two. Have you?
I
Is
do.
it two?
Oh, yes,
Yeah.
it's-
So she walks along like an
Like
adult
Junice.
body.
And I'm Junice.
His little
So
hands.
this was all inspired by the 50th anniversary of SNL when they relived that skit, and I was like, I'm buying them right now. I'm buying them right now. And they go with me everywhere. They just live in my truck. And every now and then, like when I sent a picture of all the tiny queer bags,
Yeah.
they just snuck a little hand in there. Just snuck a little hand in that picture. It's like just a little bit of joy with everything being on fire
I love it.
right now.
There's a bunch of reels online about the hairdressers that have either like an oversized comb or like the teeny tiny little blow dryer.
Hair dryer. I mean, we need that right now because it's just like, you click into the news and you're like,
Wah, wah, wah.
well,
Wow.
I still hate it here. Okay.
How many rights did I lose today, and how much more is it costing me?
Yeah, send me to the moon.
All right, to jazz things up a bit, let's pop into our fun facts with Fiona.
Yay! Okay, so this week's fun themed fact, queer fact, can't get my words out, is around Transgender Day of Visibility, which we just celebrated on March the 31st. And the transgender flag, I guess I'll ask you two first. Well, Tina, you can't answer. What year was the transgender flag created, Amy?
I don't know, but I'll guess like 94.
Oh, 1999. Yeah,
Okay.
same decade. August 1999, by a Navy veteran trans woman, Monica Helms, who I also happen to know because I know a few trans people. And Monica's awesome. And the flag, as you are probably aware, has horizontal stripes, 2 light blue, representing traditional male colours, and 2 pink stripes representing traditionally female colours, and then 1 white stripe in the middle, symbolising those who are transitioning. So I have a trans flag tattoo on my right ankle. Not sure if I've showed that off yet.
Lovely.
The star.
Did not see that.
But I thought it's interesting how colour represents gender. You know, at one time, boys were associated with pink.
Yeah.
You know that? Yeah, because it was like a softer version of red being a really strong colour. So back,
I see.
Yeah,
They were going to evolve into red.
this was in the late 19th and 20th century. Pink was seen as lighter and more delicate.
No kidding.
But yeah, originally pink was for boys and blue was for girls.
Well,
I know
I
it's
wore a lot
changed.
of blue as a little girl.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
I was born in the wrong century. I don't think it's got much better for us, though.
No.
You know, I probably
God.
at my age, I'd probably have like 18 children, maybe like 7 grandchildren,
Yeah.
all at the ripe age of 40. And I'm already picking out my casket.
Oh, lovely. Remember when my kids were little, we'd drive them through, the fast food chains, and they would always ask, you want a girl toy or a boy toy through the little speaker. And I remember my kids would go lose their mind. They were like climbing out of the car to yell at the little box to say, there's no such thing.
Oh, I love that.
I love that too.
I was in the back
So-
seat just yelling at my mom, like, tell him it's for a boy. Tell him it's for a boy.
Because they always had the cooler toys.
Well, their toys did shit.
Yeah,
they had wheels that actually worked, and then I had like if you got the girl toy, it was just this rigid Barbie that didn't even have movable parts.
Yeah, the knees wouldn't bend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She didn't have a Hot Wheels ramp that you could make the
Right?
Happy Meal box out of.
I mean, do they still give toys I don't know.
Yeah,
don't know.
100% they do. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, whatever it takes to get you to eat all your food, I suppose. But
There you go.
Well, and now you get apples with your Happy Meal, so we're moving on up.
Oh, my mother would have loved that one.
yeah.
Yeah, we weren't allowed to eat sweets as a kid.
Oh.
Yeah, we in our lunch boxes. They were really miserable because all our friends would have like candy.
Oh, no way.
There's Fiona with her porridge.
And there's like, I know porridge from
Jeez.
over here. And then, no, we'd get like apple and some fake chocolate. Well, it's not fake chocolate, like Caribou or something. I don't know. And then raisins. A box of raisins.
That is the worst snack.
The raisins,
And
yeah.
it's the smallest box. Like, hey, thanks for the one grape. Good thing it wasn't wasted on wine. Good grief.
I was a poor kid growing up, and so we got the lunch tickets, and they would come in like this little thing, and it was about each ticket was about the size of like from your knuckle to your fingertip, and you'd peel them off every day for your lunch. So they were, I think the lunches back then were like $1. I'm old. That was the value of the ticket, and I would sell it to another kid for 80 cents on the dollar. So I would sell it to him for 80 cents, so he would save money on lunch, and then I would collect all my change, and I would stop by on the way home at Wiener Schnitzel and mow it down.
Wait, did you just skip lunch to manage this
Yeah.
addiction
Yeah.
to a hot dog
most of the time
obsession?
my friends who were lucky enough to bring lunch, I would just mooch off of their lunches.
Got it.
Yeah.
That's very
So-
strategic.
My lunch was a little traumatic in elementary school because I was undiagnosed with ADHD until the 6th grade. And so I would get so distracted at lunch because I don't know if you know this about me, but I like to talk and I like to socialize.
Never figured that one.
So my mother made a deal with the lunch lady. I don't know if that's the correct term anymore, but
Probably not.
like the lunch monitor lady that would like walk around. They were volunteers. They're usually like senior women. Mrs. Braun.
Ooh, that works. That name works. She
And-
matches every lunch person I've
and
ever had.
She had a conversation, and Mrs. Braun would embarrass the hell out of me in like 4th and 5th grade, making sure that I would eat my lunch. And all of my classmates would be like, "What's the deal with Mrs. Braun? Like, why is she so obsessed with you eating your lunch?" I'm like, "No one talk about it. Like, let's go play football." I hated it. So then I just started throwing my lunch in the trash. My mom loved that.
Oh, no.
So I just didn't want to deal with it. But yeah, I ate it. It's gone.
One of my kids was a good scammer at lunchtime. So he would, a friend of mine was also the principal of the school that he went to. And so he felt very comfortable going into her office. So he went into her office one day and said, "Dr. Webb, I need $20. Mom forgot to put money in my lunch bag." And so she, of course, gave him $20.
Oh my.
Well, he would do this like every week. And she's like, "How are you burning through your lunch every week? And your parents aren't giving, like, I know your mom, I know she's giving you money." So yeah, he was just scamming the principal over lunch money at an early age.
Wowie. What a little hustler.
Yeah. The
And
I
audacity.
hate it.
And that taught him well.
Little thief.
Talk to us about new members that would have joined our establishment. What do you got for us?
Okay, so there are a couple applications in there, and you will hear from me shortly. But if you heard our podcast last week, I threw a member at the very last moment that had joined that day, Friendom. The way Friendom was able to join was through the JP Morgan Chase Scholarship Fund with the NGLCC.
Lovely.
There's a twist this time because we've had a lot of members join this way. This scholarship now covers the entirety of your certification, which is 3 years with our chamber.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah. 3
So-
years to not have to pay. That's
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah, so
Tina's loving that one.
yeah.
I mean, we still get paid. Thank you, JP Morgan and
JP
GLCC.
Morgan, JP Morgan will cover your membership with the chamber. So you get a full business membership with the chamber for 3 years. The one caveat is you will become LGBT certified. So this is to the folks out there that are the L, the G, the B, or the T.
Love it.
Reach out to me. I can send you the link, or go on the NGLCC website and you can find it there.
Good stuff.
Yeah, it is really great. It makes sense to cover the 3 years. I love that they've kind of shifted towards this because things change. And when you're a new business owner, as we know, with loans and stuff, it gets a little dicey. And what is it, 2 years to see a profit typically?
Sure.
And pay back your investors. You start paying them back. So if you get that chamber membership for just 1 year and then you're struggling, we don't want to see anybody have to close their business.
Yeah. And you really start to kind of get into the groove, right, of your membership probably about 6 months in, right? Everything hits you all at once. And then you finally hit your groove of like, oh, okay, all right, now I've got the rhythm down. Now I know I can use them for X, Y, Z. And then you start really feeling it. So yeah, it's great that they're extending it over 3 years because, I mean, so like one of our members was at the luncheon today. He's been with us for, what do you say, almost 20 years. Like it's...
And I could also say, like, you know, as a small business as well / growing empire, it's so nice when you get you don't have to renew every year.
Yeah.
Like the amount of work that it takes to get certified, it's a lot. So if anyone out there wants help certifying, I have resources. But being able to have like 3 years without having to go through the renewal process as well is really helpful for our businesses.
The easy part is the application. So like Fiona says, when you get into the nitty gritty of certification, I'm going to hope that you are organized.
Yes.
And you have a file folder somewhere or a digital file of
Shoebox.
all of the paperwork that you have submitted with the state of Texas. So that part does get a little tricky. And then eventually you get passed back to me. So at the end of your certification, you'll have a chat with me and I will legitimize your
put a stamp on it.
Status as LGBT and your business, that you're an actual business owner. So
and it covers under the rainbow of LGBTQ plus, LGBTQA plus, right?
It does not yet.
What if you're but if you're intersex or asexual or
yes,
right?
yes. So
that's what I meant.
But does not cover the Q all the time.
Okay.
So they are exploring options for this. They're
That's
actually
fascinating.
also exploring options for allied businesses that do really good work for the community.
Yeah.
But when you get to the Q portion, it can get a little dicey, but let's have a conversation. We can probably figure out where this actually fits.
Yeah. We're here to help. We're the chamber, and we're here to help.
Like, for example, when someone is very strong in their identity of being pansexual, I'm going to ask you to slide under the B.
Okay.
So, and it can work that way. So,
just paperwork.
It's just paperwork and a conversation.
All the boxes.
Yeah. More things. But these are good things. These are good things. This is free membership. And the chamber gets supported by the NGLCC and our members at JP Morgan Chase paying for this sponsorship. So it's like a win-win all around. This is good. This is good news.
That is good stuff. Congrats to those businesses that won that this time around.
Yeah. Events?
Sure. So our dearly beloved Colton is taking a long-needed rest. So Amy's going to fill in on the events. Here we go.
I want to throw this back to when we first started the pod, and he would start with, well, on April 2nd, we have a Health and Wellness Committee meeting. If you're interested in joining the Health and Wellness Committee, you can register on the events page of our website. They do all kinds of wonderful things, not limited to the toy drive at the end of the year, which is such a huge success. On April 17th, we have our monthly happy hour at B.D. Riley's. Yeah, queer owned. We love Steve over there. It's a great little spot. Like, it really feels like a traditional Irish pub when you walk in. The weather should still be lovely to use the patio. And then there will be an Irish trad session to follow our happy hour.
Super cool. I'm going.
Speaking of Health and Wellness Committee, on April 26th, we will be over at Out Wellness with Sid doing our free CPR certification and stretch session. So if you were at Advocacy Day with us or Small Town Big Pride in Lockhart, I'm sure you're feeling it in your legs. So let's go stretch and get certified in CPR for free. It's going to be awesome.
Yeah, I think Maddie's heading up the CPR class from our friends over at Ally.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Love it. And if you missed our luncheon in April, we will have another one May 7th at Weston Domain. So we're going a little further north.
Good. So no excuses.
Yeah.
For all those that live up and work up north, we're coming to you at the Domain. Lunch is, it's not a hard sell, people. It's just a limited space. It fills up. Make sure you register early so that we can then plan for how many are attending and make sure we've got enough space to hold everybody.
Yes. So
the one we had this week, I think, was really awesome, really engaging. I love how every member gets about 30 seconds. Well, Amy says 20 and then you take 40.
Well, yeah, I say 20 because then there's those that are like going on for a minute and a half. I'm like, okay.
But you get to say...
Todd Hogan.
You get get to say who you are and what you have to give and what you're looking for and who your ideal client and customer is. And I get to talk to some of our corporate clients and sponsors as well. And we get to think about all the things we can do together.
Yeah.
It was really good.
We didn't talk about it in this luncheon. Sometimes I forget to mention this, but as people are sharing what they do and what they're looking for, I can see the connections across the room. And I really do love when people share like, and I do business with, this bank over here, this person does my taxes, that person does my PR.
Yeah. This is my healthcare provider.
Yeah. It's awesome.
This person gives me some socks.
That one makes me stickers. Yeah.
It's a real sense of community. I say I go to a lot of chambery luncheon-y things, and the vast majority of them, I'd probably say all of them, besides ours, typically has a big room, a speaker on the podium, and then everybody leaves.
Yeah. And
this is such a much more both casual vibe and a connecting vibe.
Yeah.
Because you really get to know everybody who's at the lunch.
Yeah. Ours doesn't seem so cliquey as some of them. Like everybody intermingles and talks to each other, and it's not
hugs.
like the same people just lump together every time, It's really cool.
And food was great. Thank you so much for the food this week. But be sure to check out all of our events and members on our online directory. As always, thanks for joining us. If you want to become a member, visit us at austinlgbtchamber.com. If you want to be a guest or a sponsor of the show, email us at info@austinlgbtchamber. Remember, you can listen to our podcast every Friday. Be sure to click follow. Thanks. We'll see you next week.